We may be seeing much more of Starro in the near future, but who is he? Now is the perfect time to dive into the history and the origin of DC Comics' Starro the Conqueror. Before we do though, let me say thank you for watching JL's Comics. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. I upload videos just like this every single week. Alright, let's jump into the story. So who is this strange starfish-looking alien, sometimes villain, sometimes hero? You may think Starro is some esoteric deep pull from deep within the Justice League's library, but Starro ends up being quite important to the team, and as he was the first villain they went up against together as the team debuted in 1960's Brave and the Bold issue 28 by Mike Sekowsky and Gardner Fox. The concept for Starro, however, came from DC Comics editor Julie Schwartz, who says he was inspired by a Ray Cummings pulp novel called Jarro the Conqueror. Starro was able to travel through space, adapting to different planetary environments, and he can release these spores which grow into copies of himself, which then attach themselves to the face like a parasite to control the mind and the central nervous system of their host, which renders them devoid of free will and takes away their mental and mechanical capacities. All of these facehuggers spawn and clones, and Starro himself are linked psychically to each other to create a universal hive mind, and from there they can pass knowledge around, and the main Starro controls them all. In 1960's Brave and the Bold 28, Peter the Pufferfish, yes, the talking fish, warned Aquaman of a coming threat. He told him that he was floating upside down on the ocean's surface when he saw a massive starfish fly down right out of the night sky and plunge beneath the ocean's surface, where this alien selected 3 tiny starfish to become Starro replicas. Aquaman then brought together the Justice League to face the threat of Starro and his starfish deputies. Green Lantern encountered one of the Starro deputies in Rocky Mountain National Park as it stole a nuclear bomb from a Strategic Air Command B-52 bomber. This Starro detonated the bomb to absorb its energy. Green Lantern was able to stop it by shooting green energy from his power ring at the eye of the starfish, which shrunk it back down to its original size. Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter encountered the second deputy above Science City in the Hall of Science, and he was there to rob the brain power of all the scientists in the building, but they were able to defeat it. And the third starfish deputy engaged the Scarlet Speedster at Happy Harbor. Flash parted a lake like Moses and then slammed the columns of water into the starfish. And as Flash talked with a guy named Snapper, he likes to snap his fingers, the lifeless corpse of the starfish washed ashore. But it was too late. The atomic energy of the first starfish was passed on, as was the knowledge gleaned from the scientists by the second, and from the third Starro, the main Starro learned how to control human minds. "The Earth is mine," he shouted villainously. Starro said that this was his first attempt at conquering a world, and with this knowledge would be able to conquer the universe. They ended up using lime, lawn care supplies, to defeat Starro. It wouldn't be until 1977's Adventure Comics issue 451 when Starro would return, gracing the cover as he fought against Aquaman once more. It turns out that Starro wasn't completely defeated in Brave and the Bold 28. Nope. He had a piece of himself left over and was able to fully regenerate his entire body from that one piece. He didn't have his Starro powers though until he was exposed to polluted ocean water, but was then defeated as Aquaman had his fish friends dump fresh water into the area. Depowered again, Green Lantern came and used his ring to take Starro away. In Jerry Conway's Justice League issue 190 from 1981, Starro found a way to replicate himself by the millions. Hawkman watched from an orbiting spacecraft as Starro returned, replicating himself exponentially, and each of these little Starro spores attached themselves to a New Yorker. The US president said if the League couldn't resolve the issue by nightfall, it was up to the United States Navy to destroy New York. The problem is that half of the League was also under its control. Eventually, Firestorm and Green Lantern were able to free Starro, while Zatanna used her magic to freeze the air and free the citizens of New York from each of their individual facehuggers. In 1982, Starro went to Earth C, where he ran into the anthropomorphized Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew. Superman had to show up for them to be able to defeat Starro. After the crisis on Infinite Earths reset the DC Comics world until Flashpoint in 2011, a new backstory for Starro was given. The DC Universe in many ways is like a giant jar. Magic, science, and other more mysterious forces govern physics and life within the jar. Once in a while, however, an anomaly is created in an impossible vortex, a pocket outside of this jar of space and time, as rogue planets are created and then quickly destroyed before they can mature. These are known as Zero Worlds. 1-0 world defied the odds, defying destruction, and made it to maturity. And it was a terrible, backwards place where beings were created fully formed and then forced to fight in the primordial oceans of this planet in the survival of the fittest, until one supreme species reigned superior. Monsters, as they say, of unrivaled power. A bloodthirsty, monstrous species, a masterpiece of the horrific. And from that species, shaped like stars with an eternal lifespan and capable of taking control of any mind, was Star Zero. Star Zero, Starro, set out to conquer every planet, every galaxy, and every mind. And they spread out across the cosmos, across time, with countless clones and spores and mind-controlled beings folding to their might. And through all of that unrivaled power even, a single being rose to reign over them all. And this is his story. Eons ago, there was a little boy named Kobe who was part of the Hattori alien species. The Hattori people, living on the planet of Hattori, were a peaceful race and linked together in their utopia telepathically. A mother star, a massive starro from the Star Conquerors, landed on Hattori one day. The mother star is from the Star Conquerors, which are a race of primitive beasts who are hell-bent on enslaving entire star systems by hatching facehuggers and enslaving them and controlling their minds. This mother star enslaved the Hattori people, working them to death, and their anger and resentment grew and one day, using their psychic connection, transferred all of this negative energy to the Star Conqueror, the mother star. And when this happened, the Hattori people were freed of their mind control, so they went to kill that queen. And so a young Kobe joined the fight, and he went to the Starro nest where the facehuggers were born, and one burst out of its egg and attached itself to Kobe's face. The anger of the people that took down the queen was also transferred through the hatchling to Kobe, and this is when Kobe became Starro the Conqueror. And from there, 9 galaxies fell to Starro the Conqueror, who set his sights on planet Earth, targeting Science City first. In Justice League Europe, Starro shot his spores all over Europe, and it took a character named Ice to free Starro, thereby defeating him. Later, a Starro calling itself It took control of Wally West, and the JLA decided to have Spectre depower them all so Starro wouldn't be able to mind control superpowered beings, which was just the distraction they needed for Batman to step in, and once again, Starro was frozen. It turns out, though, that this Starro was just a scout for the real Starro who showed up in Grant Morrison's JLA issues 22 and 23 from 1998, where a massive Starro wanted to terraform the entire planet by shooting probes onto the planet's surface, which would control its growth, akin to how it controls a human mind. With the probes attached, it would be able to control the weather and the atmosphere and manipulate basically everything attached to the surface of the planet. It took Neil Gaiman's Daniel Hall's Dream of the Endless to defeat Starro by putting him in a dreamlike state where he thought he was just a starfish in a fishbowl, all docile and calm. During 2006's Infinite Crisis event, Starro was a member of Alexander Luthor's Secret Society of Supervillains, along with Black Adam, Talia al Ghul, Deathstroke, Dr. Psycho, and the guy with the name that should strike fear into all, the Calculator. In 2009, during Blackest Night, Brainiac's son and grandson were going to attack Starro, but were attacked by the Black Lantern's stealth before they could. His grandson, Lyral, joined up with Starro and his army as a massive battle between Starro, the Black Lanterns, and Adam Strange raged. In another story, Starro was able to control the time-traveling Rip Hunter, whom he sent back in time to 14th century Avignon, France, to conquer Earth in the past. It was up to Booster Gold and Lady Kronos to defeat Starro and free Rip from his control, thereby saving the planet. In DC Rebirth's New Superman issue 4 from 2016, we meet a genetically modified Starro being held in an aquarium by the Freedom Fighters of China, villains to the Justice League of China. Then, in a 2017 YA novel by Brandon Snyder, Starro attempted to take over the planet by way of mind control through a phone app called Cyberspore. The Justice League had to stop him before the app created a zombie apocalypse. It played into the phone zombie phenomenon. For Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Metal event, villains and heroes of the DC Universe have had to team up. So this meant Starro, Superman, Sinestro, Starfire, and others teamed up to try to stop the Omega Titans. In 2018's Justice League No Justice miniseries, the Omega Titan went to Brainiac's homeworld of Kalu to destroy it. And trying to be the hero, Starro attached himself to the face of Omega Titan to try to control it. But the Omega Titan ripped Starro off, killing him as he sacrificed himself as a hero, which is the ultimate redemption story. But Batman took a sample of Starro, and he grew a new Starro in a jar called Jarro, who actually calls Batman Dad, and Batman calls Jarro Kid. But because Starro had died, Jarro's mind was a blank canvas. It was free of influence and free for Batman to shape into someone good, which is just what he did. And in Justice League 29, Jarro fantasized about being a Robin, Jarro the Star Wonder. And he got a nice hug from Batman in this issue too. In Justice League 35, Jarro tells Commandy, Starman, and the League about the Starman of their world's prophecy of death and doom and the coming of Perpetua. Jarro rode out with Batman in issue 37, where the entire Justice League, the Terrifics, the JSA, all the heroes rode out for a battle against Perpetua and Apex Lex's endless Legion of Doom. In Dark Knight's Metal issue 3 from August of 2020, Wonder Woman says that Jarro is the most powerful among them. September 2020's Dark Knight's Death Metal Trinity Crisis found Wonder Woman rallying everyone for a battle of 3 crises and a battle against Perpetua, and yes, little Jarro was there with them. Perpetua was feeding off the crisis energy in the Batman Who Laughs dark multiverse and the 3 worlds that he had created just for this purpose, which is where the crises were unfolding. She wanted Jarro to psychically cloak Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as they had infiltrated Castle Bat to access a portal to those 3 worlds. They wanted to steal the energy away from Perpetua by using boxes that a Batman Darkseid amalgam named Darkfather created. Now on their journey, they ran into Barbatos and the Robin King, and Jarro and the heroes fought the bloodthirsty Boy Wonder. And that's how we leave them in early autumn 2020. Very much transformed, but still very much a part of ongoing DC Comics stories. And Starro has made multiple animated series appearances like Batman Beyond, Batman Brave and the Bold, Young Justice, along with games like Arkham Knight and Injustice. He's even gotten references on DC CW shows like Arrow and The Flash, but it doesn't stop there for Starro. Spoiler alert now, and this may date the video based on what happens in the future, but spoiler alert, you've been warned. Ready? Here we go. Okay. It appears that Starro may be the villain of James Gunn's Suicide Squad film, with them fighting hordes of mind-controlled people, or even if one team confronts Starro, gets mind-controlled, and a second team has to come and take them out with a giant alien antagonist. It seems rather on brand for both Suicide Squad and for James Gunn himself. And with that, that's a wrap on this one, my friends. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you can be one of the first to know when I upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.